I'm back. I don't know what happened there. I'm not 100% sure what happened. Or what happened to my live. I don't know. But that was super weird. Oh. Okay. I know what happened. I was watching too much Spider-Man. And my stream got copyrighted and taken down. That sucks. So I've lost all of that. So I guess I gotta restart, right? Yeah, it got copyrighted. So that's just gone. I should have been recording that, man. Damn it. Okay, well, that's not fun. I guess you can't show too much footage. Oh well. Well, if you're joining me afterwards, I did just talk for about 40 minutes about Spider-Man. Brand new day. It's you. I can't do what I want, dude. They took it down. They cut me off, dude. But, just to recap the last 40 minutes, my non-spoiler review of Spider-Man is that it's a top 5 Spider-Man movie, top 3 live-action Spider-Man movie, and it's a 9 out of 10, and you should go watch it. And then, fuck, dude, I don't want to, I was doing a whole plot breakdown, but let me not hit a beat by beat. Let me just kind of go through. And I didn't even have the audio going, dude. I had it muted. But alright, Sadie Sink does play Jean Grey in this movie. It is confirmed. And her motivation for her doing what she is doing, that we see her doing in the trailer, is that her sister was also taken by the DODC. And so she's after them to find her sister. And she's taking over, like, that's why she takes over a tank in this one scene, in that opening scene, whatever. So she's looking for her sister. Spider-Man, on the meantime, has completely cut off his Peter Parker life, and he has thrown himself solely into being Spider-Man. But when he finally runs into Ned, he follows him home and realizes him and MJ are throwing a house party. So he joins the house party, and that's where we get the scene from the trailer, where he gets to see Ned's board, he gives MJ the flowers, and that's where he sees MJ kissing on her new boyfriend, who only has one scene in this movie. And that kind of tells Peter, I should have kept the Peter Parker side of me down. I can only be Spider-Man. And that's where his arachnid side kind of starts to take over. At that point, he starts to get organic webs that he doesn't know how to use. He's got massive headaches, and his spider sense doesn't really work right now. And his eyes kind of go black when he kind of loses it for whatever, and he's trying to find a way to subdue it. So that's where he goes to talk to Bruce Banner, because Bruce Banner has a side of him that he needs to subdue. And they start talking about inhibitors and a bunch of science stuff. Basically, Peter Parker is going to try to make an inhibitor to suppress the enhanced arachnid side, and it doesn't work. And that's where he gets confronted by Sadie Sink's character Jean Grey, because Peter has gotten in her way a couple times. And she's going to find MJ. So you get a race between Peter and Jean Grey to try to get to MJ first. And you think Peter gets there first, and that's where he tells MJ to come with them to help. So, because someone's after her, so they go to some rooftop where they talk, and she starts like, oh, I think I remember you, and she kisses him and takes off his mask, and she's like, oh my god, Peter. And then they just hug, and then that's where Jean Grey reveals that she has been in control of MJ this entire time, in a very terrifying scene. And then she throws herself off the roof and forces Peter to catch her, and Jean Grey lets MJ come back mid-fall. So it's terrifying. So Peter takes her to Frank Castle, where he's like, this is the only place you're going to be safe now. And while they're there, he continues to work on his inhibitors, and Jean, who's also, or not Jean, I'm sorry, MJ, who's also kind of smart, reveals that it's the technology in his eyepieces that's stopping his inhibitors from working. So once he deactivates that, he can use the inhibitors and they suppress his enhanced arachnid side. And that's where he's like, all right, I'm going to go put this on Jean now. So when he goes to the DODC, that's where he sees that she has taken over the Hulk. Not the Hulk, but Bruce Banner as Smart Hulk. And she's using Bruce to try to get into this safe where everybody's sitting, where all the people who know where her sister is sitting. Now, at this point, we don't know that she has a sister. We just know that she's looking for something called VMAX, and nobody knows what VMAX is, but she's looking for it. So that's where you get the Punisher, Spider-Man, Hulk fight scene. Punisher is handled very well in this movie. He worked very, very well, and he didn't feel super nerfed either. like he's still Frank Castle, but he's all the best parts still. So that's where you get the Punisher and Spider-Man versus Hulk scene. Punisher eventually throws a grenade. Bruce catches it, says really, and it's Jean Grey taking over Bruce, by the way, obviously. And then he shoots the grenade, and that sends Hulk flying. That's where he kind of hits his head, knocks Jean out of his head. The entire time, Spider-Man's freaking the fuck out. He's like, this is the Hulk we're dealing with. And he's like, the Hulk's we saw him get his ass whooped by Thanos, but that was Thanos. It's still the Hulk. So Peter's terrified of Savage Hulk coming out, and he's trying to talk to Jean, and it's just not working. And then when Bruce knocks his head and Jean gets knocked out of his head, that's where Savage Hulk takes over, and Spider-Man's got to fight the Hulk. Where's the Punisher during this? Well, he gets taken over by Jean. And when Jean takes over his head, there's this funny scene where he just goes, oh, this guy's got issues. That's where you get the Hulk Spider-Man fight scene. Hulk is eventually able to kind of see himself in the mirror and realize that Spider-Man is not his enemy. There's a moment where he sees Peter's eyes through his Spider-Man eyes. At one point, it's actually a really cool shot, and he's like, "I'm your friend." I'm your friend. And Hulk eventually just lets all this rubble that's webbed up to him fall behind and pull him to the ground, and we don't see the Hulk again. I think there's a shot of Bruce Banner getting into an ambulance at some point. I don't remember. But then, Jean, using Punisher's weaponry, is able to get into the vault, but right before she can kill anybody, Peter gets the inhibitor on her, takes her powers away, and she gets I don't know, tranquilized, and the last thing she says is Sarah. And then Peter asks Tremel Tillman's character, who's the leader of the DODC, who also has the Hand working for him, weirdly enough. Sarah was somebody important to him, so she might have seen it, because that's what he was thinking about when she tried to jump into his mind. So he's like, okay, cool, whatever. Then he goes back to Punisher's hideout, and then MJ reveals that she has read the letter that he wrote for her, saying everything. And that's where she says, I don't feel anything for you, and I'm sorry, but I'm not your MJ. And then she also invites him to come meet Ned. So there is a moment, he gets his heart broken, but then there's just a moment where he gets to hang out with Ned and MJ with the Spider-Man mask on, and it's like the happiest he's ever been. And there's a moment where MJ reveals that when Jean took over her body, she has no recollection of it. It was 1 second she was just at her apartment, and the next she was falling off that roof hours later. So he's like, why would Tremel Tillman's character, I forget what his name is, lie to me? So he goes back to the DODC, and that's where we see that what they're doing to Jean. They got her in this room where these walls can't her powers can't go past these walls, and they're trying to get her to use her powers so they can see what parts of her brain, what does her brain do when she uses these powers, because they want to replicate it. And then they push her to her limits. She looks up and she sees an air vent, and it says vent max with a piece of tape covering the word, the ENT, and so it just looks like VMAX. So she realizes, oh, my sister sent me this VMAX message when she died, basically. So she realized that the chair in the room that she is in is where her sister died. And this triggers something in Jean, and she goes full berserker mode and basically freezes everyone within a mile distance. And this isn't when she jumps in their head and they don't see or witness anything. They are stuck, fully aware of what's going on, frozen in place. It's terrifying. And then this is where she also takes over the Hand, and she, as one mind, but with 6 different bodies, fights Peter with the hand. And that's where kind of Peter embraces his enhanced arachnid side, because it's just kind of starting to take back over again despite his inhibitor, and he just fully learns to embrace it. And his webbing is so much stronger. The DODC actually had weapons built specifically for Peter Parker, or for Spider-Man when he got on the line, that nerfed his webs. And you see that in a shot where he goes to shoot his web shooters, and these weapons like take out his webs. But when he gets the organic webs and he shoots them at these new weapons, they're no match for it. So he's able to embrace his arachnid side and take on the hand, and then he gets to Jean, but Jean is so much stronger now. So she's able to stop him. She's able to freeze him when she couldn't earlier, when this whole thing happened. Peter's the only one that's been able to walk through this big fucking frozen circle that she's put everybody in. But at this point, when he gets closer to her, she's able to stop him too. She's like, I'm a lot stronger now, and I can jump into your head. So he invites her to it. He's like, go ahead. So she jumps into his head, and you get Aunt May getting the speech that she gave to Peter when she first found out he was Spider-Man. But you get Jean. It's like Jean is getting the same speech, like sitting where Peter stood, or sitting where Peter sat. And Aunt May gives the message to Jean, and it's very heartfelt, and it's beautiful, and it moves Jean, and she realizes that like nobody has to do this alone, like whatever. So you get that whole thing, and then but in the meantime, Frank Castle's like, I'm sick of this shit, and he's gonna shoot. He's got a sniper, and he's gonna put Jean down his way. But Peter senses it coming, and when Frank shoots the shot at Jean, Peter steps in the way, and you get this awesome shot where the bullet hits Peter in the back, and he's covering Jean, and it pushes them both forward, and Peter just kind of like slides. His feet just slide, but his body doesn't fucking move. And he's like, are you okay? Are you okay? Okay. She's like, I'm fine. And then she's like, oh shit, but you're not fine. He's like, oh no, I'm fine. And then he fucking falls, and he's about to die. Like Spider-Man's about to die, and Frank's like, oh fuck, dude. And that's where Jean kind of uses her powers to steady Peter's breathing, and just using her powers is able to keep Peter alive long enough for Frank to take him to the hospital, for doctors to work on him. And by the time she stops using her powers, she's already on a bus headed somewhere upstate New York. So there's a lot of time that's passed, and then you get a scene between Frank and Peter in the hospital where Frank sees his face. He's like, I've got you, don't worry. And he gives Peter this speech about how he's seen in his line of work and in his day, he's seen a lot of bravery, but he's never seen anything quite like that. And just the fact that he's just a kid as well. Frank's got a soft spot for kids. So it's a real good heartfelt moment. And then just so Peter can get out and escape without being seen, when he walks out of the hospital, you look up and you see Frank Castle wearing the Spider-Man mask in the window, because there's a lot of people outside of the hospital waiting to see if Peter's gonna make it. So it gets the crowd cheering, and Peter's able to slip away, and it's awesome. It is so good. And then the last scene of the movie is Peter's going to pick up flowers to take to Aunt May's grave, because he does that all the time. It's the only thing he does besides being Spider-Man usually. And he sees Ned, and he walks over to Ned, and he goes, hi, I'm Peter. And Ned kind of reluctantly shakes his hand, and then they just do the handshake that they used to do. And then Ned looks up and says, Peter. And that's where the movie ends. So maybe Ned remembers. Maybe because Ned's a wizard, Ned can cast portals with a sling ring. So maybe there's something there buried deep within, because he's also a little bit of a sorcerer. He might just remember. There is a post-credit scene where you see Ned's spider tracker. You don't actually see anybody holding, you just see the screen of the spider tracker, and it's like a Spider-Man's been sighted way the fuck off in the distance, like in space. So tease for Doomsday or tease for Secret Wars. Ooh, who knows? Is it Tom Holland's black suit of Spider-Man in Secret Wars? Is it Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in Doomsday? Who knows? Anyways, go watch Spider-Man for a new day. Fantastic. Oh, we did that in about 14 minutes. Hell yeah. I did not want to recap for 40 minutes word for word. Yeah, all in all, fantastic movie. I meant to have my Spider-Man mask on at the beginning of this. I'm kind of glad I didn't now, since it got deleted anyways. But I'll save it. Maybe I'll do a video, and I'll wear the Spider-Man mask. I have a whole outfit. All right. Let's get into some other news. Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street. This right here. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting for a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And we might be getting one. Small chance we could get two, but realistically we're only going to get one. But here's the deal. Warner Brothers, Paramount. There's a merger happening, right? But my coworker has an Iron Man suit. That's badass. But here's the issue, right? Warner Brothers and Paramount also want to make their own separate Nightmare on Elm Street movie. So they're kind of racing right now to try to see who can get their movie approved first. But here's the deal. Warner Brothers owns domestic rights only. So that means if they did a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, it could only release in the US. Whereas Paramount owns the international rights. So if they did a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, it can only release internationally and not in the US. Also, Paramount wanted to do a shot-for-shot remake, which, boo, don't want that. Warner Brothers wanted to get Lee Cronin in there to direct a whole new original story, and I'm like, hell fucking yeah, dude. Hopefully just the merger just happens before either one of these things happen, so we can just get a movie released everywhere. That'd be awesome. Preferably with Lee Cronin directing. I'm all for Lee Cronin directing a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. You know, there actually is a Freddy vs. Jason sequel. It's just a comic book. And then that comic book series has a sequel series. It's Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash Williams from Evil Dead. The sequel to Freddy vs. Jason does exist, and it's a comic book. And then the sequel to that comic book has a lot of the original characters from all of those movies show up in it too. And a lot of them die. I'm digging the vibes right now. But yeah. Give me Lee Cronin directing an original Nightmare on Elm Street movie all day, every day. Give me that. Lee Cronin did, most recently he did The Mummy, which, all things considering, for a Blumhouse movie was pretty good. But he also did a little movie called Evil Dead Rise. If you don't know, now you know. Massive Evil Dead Rise fan. One of my favorite horror movies to release in the last, like, 20 years. Absolutely love that. We got House of the Dragon, the penultimate episode, recently. We got one more episode left. The finale will air on Sunday. This most recent episode, we got a little bit of a diversion. We got a little bit of a sidestep. There's a scene that's not in the books at all. You kind of get Cyrax, Caraxes, and Sea Smoke kind of 3v1ing Sheep Stealer, which was crazy, but I was here for it, man. You also get the hint that Ormond Hightower is working, he's bribing Ulf the White, so Ulf is probably going to turn on Rhaenyra this next episode, which does happen in the books, so probably going to get that. What's Hugh Hammer going to do? Because in the books, Hugh Hammer also turns on Rhaenyra, but Hugh Hammer's not married in the books. This is married, so they've taken a lot of liberties with this character already. Are they going to take more? Who knows? I think I was telling Wesley this the other day. I was telling him this last night, actually. I think House of the Dragon is my favorite show of all time. I think it's better than Daredevil. I think it's better than Daredevil Born Again. I think it's a lot better than Game of Thrones. Because I'm trying to get Wesley to watch Game of Thrones right now, but he really hates it. He doesn't like it at all. He's watched one season and he hated it. But I'm not the biggest Game of Thrones fan either. I like it in the later seasons. But it's a struggle to get through this first couple seasons. But House of the Dragon though is my favorite show of all time, 1000%. So keep telling Wesley he's got to watch Game of Thrones because I want to watch House of the Dragon with him. And technically, House of the Dragon you could watch it first because it takes place like 200 years before Game of Thrones. But there are just certain things that you won't understand at all that you need to understand. So he's got to watch Game of Thrones first. I'm a little sick today, guys. I'm sorry. Which sucks because I'm about to have my last match in like 3-4 days. What else do we got to talk about? What else do we got to talk about? I don't know. Any other news? The South Park telling of Game of Thrones is all I need to know. Jesus Christ. I've actually never watched. Dragon Ball Super. Oh, okay. You like Dragon Ball Super? I think Dragon Ball Super. I watched the Dragon Ball Super movies, but I didn't watch the show. I like Dragon Ball Z. Is that what your favorite show is? I can't remember the question I asked. I ain't gonna lie to you. So you listen to the podcast, so you're gonna know what I mean when I say this next thing. I packed a little bit of hiking gear with me for this trip. For this stream. I packed a little bit of hiking gear. Not a lot. No, not even like a fraction of what I do on the podcast, but what I bring with me there. But I am a little bit, so I'm a little out of it right now. I look good though, man. Holy shit. Yes, I find myself like attractive. Like I look at myself a lot and I'm like, that's a hot ass dude. If I was a chick, I'd fuck that dude. I have enjoyed everything up to Super on DVD. Oh, I have everything up to Super on DVD. Okay. Man, you know, I'm a bit of a fraud, actually, I gotta admit, because I don't get me wrong, I have seen all of Dragon Ball Z. It's just been, like, over 20 years. Or, you know, I don't remember when Dragon Ball Z first aired or ended, but it's long enough that I don't remember, so it's been a really long time. But I've also, it wasn't just the show Dragon Ball Z that made me a fan of Dragon Ball so much. It was the show, and I couldn't get into Dragon Ball that much. I couldn't get into Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball Z I just loved. But it was also the games, specifically Budokai 2. Dragon Ball Z, Budokai 2, and Dragon Ball Tenkaichi. Budokai Tenkaichi, the first one. Not Tenkaichi 2, not Tenkaichi 3, not Ultimate Tenkaichi, not the ones after. It was Budokai Tenkaichi, and it was Budokai 2. Not Tenkaichi 2, just Budokai 2. Because there's Budokai, Budokai 2, Budokai 3, Budokai Tenkaichi, Budokai Tenkaichi 2, Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and then there's Ultimate Tenkaichi, which is just fucking rock, paper, scissors. Which I don't like. I hated how that game worked, and I think a lot of them worked like that afterwards too. So I kind of stopped playing at that point. But it was just playing Budokai 2 all the time, religiously. Like playing the story mode over and over and over again, going through Cell, going through Frieza, going through Boo. Like, it's so fun. Also, you get fucking Majin Vegeta. Like, which is my favorite form of Vegeta, is Majin Vegeta, if you did not know. And if you don't know, now you know. But, love Dragon Ball Z. Any other movie news? TV show news? Is there Dragon Ball Super news? Is that the question I asked earlier that I can't remember? My hair's busted right now. Oh, you want to see something cool I've been working on? So I'm trying to teach myself how to edit on a computer. The only thing I've ever, I've edited stuff before, but it's like cell phone editing, like cell phone app editing. I'm not an editor. I don't know how to edit. I just know how to like do stuff on my phone. But I'm trying to teach myself how to edit right now, and I'm currently working on this. And I don't mind showing this off because like no one's gonna watch this, so I don't care. There we go. So I'm trying to teach myself how to edit. So this, you don't need to pay attention to any of this. This is just here. I probably don't even, honestly, I could probably delete that. I think they are about to release the next series of Super. I don't follow enough movie stuff. Oh wait, Super Troopers 3. Hey, Super Troopers 3. You know, I've actually never seen a Super Troopers movie. I've never sat down and watched a Super Troopers movie, ever. Not my style of comedy. I don't know what it is. The last thing I saw for Dragon Ball Super was the Broly movie. Because I remember they did Broly in Dragon Ball GT, which isn't canon. But then when Super finally did Broly, I watched the movie. I didn't do the show, I watched the movie. That was the last thing I watched. But I've been working on this for this week because obviously Wes and I are wrestling Titan and Riley this weekend. So I've been trying to work on this, and I don't want to play too much because there is a song playing into it, but I've got up to 42 seconds so far of this. I'm trying to make a hype video basically. Or I'm sorry, I've got 38 seconds of hype video. So put pause on this. I'm gonna give this little quick teaser of what I'm trying to work on. And here's the thing, I'm not even gonna say that this is something that's gonna release because I don't know if I'm even gonna finish this. If I can finish it by Friday, I'll drop it Friday. But I don't know. Like, I'm not good at this, and this is taking up a lot of time that I don't have. So, watch this. Tell me what you think, Daryl.
When you think of who's at the top of this scene, you think Riley Grin. You think Titan Yin.
Let me just do this. Here we go. Now you can't see me. Okay. Tell me what you think of it over here. Oh, I guess, you know what? Let me see. I think I could have done this. Hold on. I'm coming back. If I do this, boom. All right, now you can tell me what you think so far. 38 seconds. I've only got 38 seconds.
When you think of who's at the top of this scene, you think Riley Grin. You think Titan Yin. But before it was you, it was us. And you think you can beat us? You don't even understand us.
That's what I'm working on right now. I mean, I know how to do all this stuff like on my cell phone, but like I want to do it on here so I can make it better. Dude, that is awesome. Wes helped me a ton with video editing when I first started, and I still ask him questions. Oh yeah, when I told him yesterday, because I started this last night, and when I told him I was working on it, he just walked over here and was like, "Let me see." So, and then instead of sitting here and working on it, we went for a walk because that's what we do. But yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. Because that song, I don't know if you know what song that is, but let me go back. Exit out of that. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Shit, I exited out of the wrong one. No more chill music. So it's this new song. I'm not gonna, play too much of it. I'm actually not gonna play it at all, but I'm just gonna show it to you real quick. It's a motionless in white, fight like hell. Wesley showed it to me a little bit ago, and apparently when WWE wanted Motionless in White to make a song for Rhea Ripley, this was the first thing that they put out. Or no, maybe that's not true. Maybe it's just like what was it? I'm trying to remember the story. Cuz I feel like that's true too, but like maybe No, okay, so the story was I apologize, I misspoke. Um the story is that he wanted to just make his own song dedicated to Rhea Ripley that wasn't like WWE involved. So this is like his song about Rhea Ripley that doesn't ever say Rhea Ripley, but it does have the if you just go back to play the beginning of it. This is my brutality! So, yeah. It says this is my brutality, and then it's like its own song at that point, but there's little references here and there like when the bell rings. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff, man. And I was listening to that song, and it got me inspired to be like, this will make a great hype video song. So that's what I'm working on now. But there's a part in that song where that's the only part where it says this is, I think. I think the rest of the song says witness my brutality, which is also pretty cool. But that song has become ingrained into my brain recently. Man, you get a cool shot of my scar over here. Look at that. I don't like using Snapchat, but sometimes like when I used to talk to people on Snapchat, I would take a picture of my scar, then I would put like eyeball emojis of it, and it would look like a smiley face. Yeah, they released a video talking about it recently. Okay, cool. I haven't seen that. Wesley just showed me the song, so. But no, that's it's got me inspired to work on this hype video for myself. I think I'm gonna get up out of here now. I need to go pick something up and whatnot. So, thank you, Daryl, for hanging out with me this entire time. I forgot to turn my bedroom light on, but this kind of looked pretty good. This looked okay. If you're watching this afterwards, thank you. I appreciate it. I apologize if you had to find your way here because the link that I shared on Facebook earlier got taken down. So prepare yourself for like 20 notifications about copyright stuff on Facebook when you post it. I always had that problem with... Oh, so I don't post these to Facebook. I post the links to the videos to Facebook. But I do know what you mean because there was a few years ago, me, Titan, Riley, and Seth the Pimp were playing Fortnite, and I was streaming on Facebook, and they kept playing the copyrighted emotes. So I got like 6 months worth of fucking notifications saying part of my video was being copyrighted or muted or something like that. So yeah. But all right, Daryl, I'm gonna get up out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching, for hanging out. If you clicked on this afterwards, I appreciate you so much. Again, subscribe to Tommy Talks. My name is Tommy, and I like to talk since I didn't get an intro for this, technically, since it was taken down. But follow me on all social media platforms. Tommy Dean Pro, Tommy Dean 32. I don't know. They're all in the links. Links in the description for my social medias, or at least my handles. And you know what? Go subscribe or follow my podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you do that. BS with Tommy and Wes. It's a pretty fucking fun time. Okay, we do it. We don't just go on there and talk. We have ourselves a little huffle-a-puff, and then we start recording. We just announced on the most recent episode we will be simulating an entire season of Survivor, but where every tribe member on each tribe is a character played by either Jim Carrey or Adam Sandler. So if you wanna stick around for that, go follow us. I don't know when that's dropping. I've got to plan it, and then we got to record it. So that's going to take a while, but follow us on there anyways. We just released our 50th episode. And subscribe to Tommy Talks. Tell your friends about it. Tell your grandma about it. When grandma comes in and she's like, oh, how was work? Slap her with a fish. Be like, shut up, grandma. I need you to subscribe to Tommy Talks, and I need you to watch his lives every Tuesday. in that order. We're not. Peace out.